Yasodanandana Vraja Janarajana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinatha Radha Gopinatha Sri Radhe Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Nitai Gaura Hariba 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 Nitai Gaura Hariba Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivirajikacharya Astatara Sarasi Samaris Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan Ki Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai Sri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya This morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, text 49 and 50. Purnamasyam sinivalyam Dvadasyam shravanetava Dinachaye vyatipate Sankramet Kadine Piva Sravayech Chadarananam. Okay, there's only 49 is written there, so I'll just read this next. Sravayech Chadarananam Tirthapada Parasraya Netcham statat manatmanam santushta iti siddhyati. Word for word. Purnamasyam on the full moon day. Sinivalyam on the dark moon day, Dvarasam on the day after Ekadasi, Shravane during the Shravana star's appearance, Atava or Dinachaye at the end of the Tirthi, Vyatipate a particular day of the name, Sankrame at the end of the month, Arkadine on Sunday, Api also, Va or. Translation. Persons who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord should recite this narration of Dhruva Maharaj without taking remuneration. Specifically, recitation is recommended on the full moon or dark moon day, on the day after Ekadasi, on the appearance of the Shravana star, at the end of a particular Tirthi, or the occasion of Vyatipata, at the end of the month, or on a Sunday. Such recitation should of course be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed this way, without professional motive, the reciter and audience become perfect. Purport. Professional reciters may ask money to extinguish the blazing fire within their bellies, but they cannot make any spiritual improvement or become perfect. It is therefore strictly forbidden to recite Srimad Bhagavatam as a profession to earn a livelihood. Only one who is completely surrendered at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, depending fully on Him for personal maintenance or even for maintenance of his family, can attain perfection by recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is full of narrations of the pastimes of the Lord and His devotees. The process can be summarized as follows. The audience must be faithfully receptive to the Bhagavat message, and the reciter should completely depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavata recitation must not be a business. If done in the right way, not only does the reciter achieve perfect satisfaction, but the Lord also is very satisfied with the reciter and the audience. And thus, both are liberated from material bondage simply by the process of hearing. Translation. Persons who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord should recite this narration of Dhruva Maharaj without taking remuneration. Specifically, recitation is recommended on the full moon or dark moon, a day on the day after Ekadasi, on the appearance of the Shravana star, at the end of a particular Tirthi, or on the occasion of Vyatipata, at the end of the month, or on a Sunday. Such recitation should, of course, be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed this way, without professional motive, the reciter and audience become perfect. Of course, Maitreya Muni is talking about reciting the narration of Dhruva Maharaj. Prabhupada talks about, in general, the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is made up of all stories of like Dhruva Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj and so many others, and of course the Supreme Lord, and in these different incarnations and expansions, so on and so forth. So it is a very wonderful literature. And specifically here, Dhruva Maharaj. Now here, Maitreya Muni says that this recitation on these particular days is especially auspicious. Of course, recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam is all auspicious on any day and any time. Just like we were saying yesterday, and Prabhupada was explaining, just like the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is all powerful, but when that mantra is received through the Diksha initiation given by the Guru who recites the mantra to the disciple, that mantra, already all powerful, becomes even more powerful, because the Lord expands Himself even more, being very pleased with His very great devotee Guru who is giving the mantra, and also the power of the Guru is also with the mantra. So when one receives initiation, that is a very, very potent reception of a transcendental sound vibration. And of course comes transcendental knowledge. and after initiation comes transcendental training. So similarly, with Srimad Bhagavatam, it is all auspicious. You can recite in any place practically, and it is very auspicious. But if it's done on specific days, as mentioned here by Maitreya Rishi, then it becomes even more auspicious. There's no saturation point as far as our the spiritual position and our spiritual position. It is ever increasing. The Lord's opulences are unlimited, and the transcendental vibrations of his pastimes and his devotees are also unlimited. And so there are different levels of effect. So these days are good, as mentioned here. Full moon day this is considered auspicious. Anything done on full moon, the Purnim, just like we have Bhadra Purnim. Bhadra Purnim is a special full moon where if you give Srimad Bhagavatam or receive Srimad Bhagavatam on this day, it is very, very auspicious. And we have, of course, Vaisheshika Prabhuji. He's a minister for book distribution. He very much had the campaign for promoting, distributing Srimad Bhagavatam during the Bhadra Purnim, but in general distributing all of the books of Srila Prabhupada, these transcendental literatures on this particular day. Very, very auspicious. So full moon day, dark moon day, or new moon day, Amavasya, the new moon day. These are all auspicious days to perform transcendental activities. And here also after Kwadasi, Dwadasi. Dwadasi is auspicious. Shravanastar, some other Sunday even is mentioned. Sunday is actually coming. Sunday is coming from the means the day of the sun, and Surya, even in the ancient Vedic text, is mentioned of the this particular day as especially good for worshipping Surya, sun god. But as Vaishnavas, we worship Surya as representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are very auspicious days. Vatipata, and I'm not an expert as far as the different effects on these particular days, different star constellations and so on and so forth. So one can see what is auspicious day, what is auspicious time even, or just like we like to do yagyas. Any Vaishnava Homa, Vaishnava Yagya is auspicious, but of course the Vaishnavas like to also add extra auspiciousness and perform these yagyas, homas on the tirthis, on particular times, which are even more auspicious. So we look for a nice auspicious time to perform these things. So this recitation is recommended here by Maitreya Muni, to be recited during these times. Extra effect will be there. You'll be blessed by reciting and hearing. Now Prabhupada goes here focuses more on the second part of the or the second verse. Such recitation should of course be performed before a favorable audience. When recitation is performed this way without professional motive, the recitant audience become perfect. So Prabhupada sees as a very, very important point. Srimad Bhagavatam, Nigama Kalpataro, what is it? Toro Galitam Palam Sukha Mukarammirta Davasam, Pibata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam, Mahura Hura Sika Bhuvi Bhavakaha. This is a famous verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Relish this Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures, emanated from the lips of Sri Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarine juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. So Prabhupada mentions that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge. It is the cream of the Vedic knowledge. When you go, of course, when Sukadeva Goswami recited this to Maharaj Pariksit, it is a place called Sukratal. I was just there in February at Sukratal. And that place is when you go outside Delhi, you go on the way to Rishikesh and you turn off a little bit, and you can go to Sukratal. There's a beautiful spot there. At that time when Sukadev recited to Parikshit Maharaj, the Ganga was also there. Now it has moved a little bit further away from the actual spot of the recitation. It's about a kilometer away because the Ganges has moved. But at the time of Sukadev Goswami, it was right there. They were on the banks of the Ganga, and many had assembled to hear Sukadev Goswami speak. Sukadev Goswami is very famous for being the speaker of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Parikshit Maharaj is very famous for being the listener of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now Sukadev Goswami is very exalted, so both the speaker and of course Parikshit Maharaj is very exalted. Both the speaker and the listener is very exalted. So the effect of in being absorbed in Krishna Katha is enhanced exponentially. Is enhanced. Of course, anyone hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is benefited. But those who hear that actually mention submissive hearing, Prabhupada says, patient and submissive hearing. So a very wonderful place. You can go there. There's the deity of Sukadev Goswami there, and Parikshit Maharaj. There's some other Radha Krishna temple there. The ancient tree, it is said that remnants of the tree, there's an ancient banyan tree there, and there's still some remnants, it is said, there. You can see some very old banyan tree. A new one has come up, but in some sections the old tree is still there. So a very wonderful place, and many ashrams are there, many ashrams, and it is a very visited place, perhaps not as visited as Vrindavan Dham or Jagannath Puri, but still a lot of pilgrims go there. And the devotees, I was staying in Delhi, and the devotees from our Noida ISKCON temple in Delhi where I was staying, they were telling me, yes, they have regular Bhagavat Saptaha there, but Bhagavat Saptaha not like professional Bhagavat Saptaha. They go there and they have recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam a few times in the year. The temple president was telling me that he takes the course himself, and the others are deputed to take the course of teaching the Srimad Bhagavatam to all the devotees, and you can actually rent some ashram accommodation. There's a lot of rooms that you can rent, and they go there and they stay there for a week and just hear Srimad Bhagavatam. But there's not a professional motive in it. There's no view to making a business and making money out of it. No, the devotees just go there, and this is the actual way to study Srimad Bhagavatam. So taking advantage of the holy place of Sukratal and going there, the devotees go there, and they tell me, he was telling me that other temples, of course Delhi now has like 17, 20 temples, and so other temples also organize their congregation to go to the Sukratal, probably a couple of hours from Delhi. They go to the Sukkot, there's a good highway now, and they go there and they recite and they hear Srimad Bhagavatam at that very holy place. So effect is really wonderful in the holy place, and recited by a devotee and heard by devotees. And this is a patient and submissive hearing. You have to be in the right mood to hear it. The mature fruit, it is the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic knowledge. It is the spotless Purana. There are many Puranas, but it's described as the spotless Purana. Nasta Preshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Seva Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. There are many verses glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam. It is such a wonderful literature. And so to get the greatest benefit, one has to recite it and hear it in the proper way. So Prabhupada very much concentrates on this, and he even goes so far as to say professional reciters may ask money to extinguish the blazing fire within their bellies. You can try to make a business out of these things, but this won't have any effect. It may be, it probably goes so far as to say it's strictly prohibited. This Bhagavat Sapta, professional Bhagavat Sapta, where you're advertising and then you're charging money, and the people go and they pay you money, And quite often they're very famous reciters of the Srimad Bhagavatam in India, of course, and they make it a big performance. And some of these big famous reciters, again, many thousands of people go there, and they're reciting in beautiful melodies. And sometimes they're doing some drama. They're reciting a particular section, and then they'll have some drama, and they'll have some dance, they'll have some song, and then in this way they recite Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's very appealing in that sense. People go, oh, such a wonderful show. But because the reciter is just mainly interested in putting on a show and then getting money and making perhaps a lot of money, the motive is not pure, and it's not the way to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is condemned here by Prabhupada, and is condemned in the Bhagavatam itself. Kaitava, Prabhupada, rather Bhagavatam calls this Kaitava, cheating type of thing, where, and our acharyas have described not only Bhagavatam, but any type of materialistic mentality in doing seva, just like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He would say there's like professional pandas or pujaris who go. They're just doing it for the money. They haven't got any devotion practically. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say they're using the Shalagram Shila to crack the nuts so they can eat the nuts. You understand this? Why he says they're using the, you know what is the Shalagram Shila? Or did we have Shalagram Shila here? The stone that is representing the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and that we're supposed to worship, but they're worshipping just to, they take it and break it, they're eating, they're just worshipping to eat. Just worshipping to eat. And I remember I was telling one story of a Lalanath temple. A Lalanath temple, Chaitanya, that's in the Jagannath Puri. It's about 30 kilometers from the Jagannath temple in Jagannath Puri. And during the time when, after the Lord Jagannath Snan Yatra, when the Lord Jagannath is bathed, and so many have the opportunity, he goes into a room where it is said that he recuperates. It is a leela. He recuperates from catching a cold because of the bathing. And so he's not visible for 15 days. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was at Jagannath Puri, he was very morose that he couldn't see Lord Jagannath. He would go every day to the temple to see Lord Jagannath, and then he was very morose now. For the 2 weeks he couldn't see Lord Jagannath because only the pujaris would go in the special room to look after Lord Jagannath. So he was very morose. So he would go to Lalanath temple. Lalanath temple is there. It's an ancient temple. There's a deity of Lord Vishnu there. And it is said actually Lord Jagannath's mercy is manifest in the deity of Lalanath at the Lalanath temple. And Lord Chaitanya went there and he paid his obeisances in great ecstasy, seeing Lord Vishnu and feeling the mercy of Jagannath, that when he lay on the stone melted. And there's some imprint on the stone that you can see. I haven't been inside because that temple is run by the pandas at the Jagannath temple, and the foreigners can't go inside there. But some of our devotees have been inside, and you can see the markings on the stone. So Lord Chaitanya would be in ecstasy. But there's one nice story that's told there in regard to Lord Lalanath, in that, or Lord Vishnu, in that there was one pujari. His name was Sri Caitanya. And he was worshipping the deity. One time he had to go for some business affair, and he asked his son to make the offering to the deity. And his son's name was Madhu. So he asked his son, you do the offering, and there are certain prayers and everything. So he knew the boy Madhu couldn't learn the prayers. He was a young boy, and he knew he couldn't learn the prayers. He said, you just make a prayer. He said, just don't worry about the mantras and everything. You just make a prayer when you put the food there. You make a prayer and ask the Lord to accept and eat this offering. And Madhu, when his father left, Sri Caitanya left, and Madhu did that. He took the offering and he made a prayer, and then he went away. And he came back. He saw the food was still there. So he thought that, oh, Lord Vishnu is not eating. I'm making the prayer, but he doesn't eat. And so he became a bit worried that his father would come back, and he asked him to offer the food, and his father would see the food's still there. Perhaps he would think, I didn't make the offering. And so he was a little upset, and so he asked Lord Vishnu, he said, please eat this offering. And so then he went away, and he came back, and it was still there. The offering was still there. And so he was and then he asked again with such sincerity and fervour, said, please, Lord, please take this and eat this offering. So then he went away and came back, and indeed, he saw the offering was gone. So his father came back, and he said that, all right, you made the offering. Where is the offering? And of course, Madhu said, well, the Lord ate it. And said that the Lord ate it. And then his father said, he's just a stone deity. How he can take the food, actually? He's stone. And said, what have you done with the food? Because they were the pujaris there. They were depending on the offerings, so then they could eat. So then he was very angry with his son. But Madhu kept insisting, no, the Lord actually ate the food. And so his father wanted to catch him out. And he said, well, you just go and make another offering, and let's see if he eats. And this time, Sri Caitanya, he was hiding, unseen. He was hiding, watching. And then when Madhu made the offering and asked the Lord to eat, he left. And then Sri Caitanya was looking from behind a pillar. And then he saw Lord Vishnu bending down and picking up the offering. Lord Vishnu, as the deity, bending down and picking up the offering. And so Sri Caitanya, he ran over there and he caught the Lord's arm. He said, you are a stone deity, how you can bend down and eat the offering? And if you eat the offering, what will we eat? And as he bent down, some hot sweet rice fell on his arm, fell on the Lord's arm. And the pujaris, apparently, they say there's a little mark on the Lord's arm where the Lord was burnt by the hot sweet rice. And so then the Lord, he got up and he said that we do not accept offerings from people like you. You are a very materialistic person, and we only accept offerings for those who offer with love. And your son Madhu, because he offered with great sincerity and actually in love, I accepted the offering, but we will not accept any offerings from people like you. So one can do the puja, and one can do so many things, but if it's just official, or you're doing it for getting your food or making money, then that is not very acceptable to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, as I said, using the shalagram to break the nuts so you can eat them. So many stories like that. So we have to be careful to try to actually be sincerely devoted to performing devotional service. Of course, in the beginning, we won't have that much devotion. We won't have that much devotion because we're still very much affected by the consciousness of the previous lifestyle. Or sometimes when we first come, we've got great enthusiasm because it is something new and our mind is very enthusiastic. But after time, it dwindles, the enthusiasm dwindles. This is because the enthusiasm was based primarily on the devotional service being a new thing, and the mind was attracted. But then on practicing devotional service, that devotion has to go deeper, on the platform of actual spirituality, and then that devotion goes deep and deep and continues and expands more and more and more, that one will always be enthusiastic and one at every moment of the day. One will always be enthusiastic and have great love and devotion at every moment of the day. So just like when we're chanting, we chant with not perhaps giving attention. We chant very mechanically. Of course, we have to chant, so any type of chanting is good, but on that type of chanting, especially if you're chanting with offences, that won't be so effective. But those who are very advanced, they're crying when they're chanting. They're crying when they're chanting. They can't stop crying. They have tears in their eyes when they're doing the chanting. This is advanced devotee. So it is said that those who don't cry, there's one verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam that states that those who don't cry when they chant the holy names of the Lord, their heart is hard like the stone. Their heart is hard like the stone. If you're not crying when you're chanting. And it can't be just what we call, what Prabhupada used to call crocodile tears. The crocodile, you're crying, making a show of crying. Crocodile tears, just like Prabhupada used to use crocodile tears, because when you see the crocodile, he's got some duct in the eye that it looks like there's a tear there. But if you go there and think, oh, the crocodile is crying, poor crocodile, let me console the poor crocodile, he's crying. What's the matter, the poor crocodile? I will go pat him. If you go and do like that, he will eat you. He is not crying, actually. It looks like he is not crying, but it's some duck thing, and so he will eat you. So that is the true nature. So it may look like you're crying, and it may look like you're putting on show. Prabhupada told the story of one yogi. There was one yogi nearby Calcutta on the bank of the Ganga, and he was doing tapasya. He was just sitting in the hot sun and just doing the meditation. And so many people were, this yogi he's very exalted person, and they wanted to take the darshan, take the blessings of this yogi who was sitting with the matted hair and the ashes, everything, just doing like that. They wanted to give offerings to him. He said, no, I won't accept. You give to Mother Ganga. You give to Mother Ganga and you put it in this pot in the Mother Ganga here. So every time someone came, he said, no, you give to Mother Ganga. She is a recipient of the offering. You put it here. So, but some people were a little suspicious of this yogi, and they waited and they hid late at night, in the midnight. And then they were watching him, and so at midnight they saw he was looking around and no one was around. And then they saw him, he got up and he went over to that spot where the people were throwing the offerings. And then they saw him, he was pulling on a rope. He was pulling on a rope. And as he was pulling on the rope became a net. It was actually a net. And as he was pulling the net, all the offerings that he said that you have to throw in this spot. No, don't throw in that spot. Throw in this spot. So then, when he was pulling up the net, all the offerings were caught in the net, and he would take the offering and put in the hiding place, so no one would know. So then he was exposed that he was just making show. Actually, he was just interested in getting the donations from the people and keeping, but just presenting himself, oh no, I'm not accepting anything, just give to Mother Ganga. But actually he was taking. So there's many like that. So someone who recites Srimad Bhagavatam and then wants the money, that is not very good. There's just like in I go Indonesia and Bali, for example, some of the Brahmins there, they do the very elaborate yajna, and they're charging so much money for the yajna that the poor people, they can't afford, especially if there's death in the family. They want the Brahmanas to come and do the yajna for their loved one who has died, but they can't afford because they're charging so much money. Devotees have told me stories yesterday. Some of the families have to preserve the body until some other person in the village has died, and then between the two of them or the three of them, they've got enough money to pay the Brahmins to do the yajna. So this type of thing is doing for the money and livelihood. Of course, the Brahmanas have to be looked after, and a donation has to be there in any yajna. But it is by donation, it is by what one can give. A yajna is not complete unless one gives donation to the Brahmanas and to so many other charities you can give. It is said it's not complete unless one does like that. But donation according to your position, not making fee. The fee will be like this. According to your position, you're giving like that. So this is actually the method, and Prabhupada actually says that the process can be summarized as follows. When you're reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, the audience must be faithfully receptive to the Bhagavat message. Faithfully. So this is the best way, and And just like when we come to the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're all here in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, where submission and patience, as Prabhupada said in the previous purport I read. Submission means not blindly following, asking questions, but respectfully. You're respectfully asking questions. You have respect for the Bhagavatam. You have respect for the teacher of the Bhagavatam. You have respect for the whole process of the recitation. So, and you subordinate yourself to the teacher, so then you can learn. If you're very puffed up, you won't learn anything. You know everything already. Why do you even come? You're knowing. I'm knowing everything. Sometimes in India, when I'm giving the class, I ask someone, yes, Swami, I am knowing all these things already. Then if you're knowing all these things, then you won't learn anything. Even if you're knowing these things, then hear some more. Just like the great recitation in Vrindavan, it is very famous that the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, would go and hear the recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Raghunath Bhatt was very famous for being able to recite Srimad Bhagavatam in so many different melodies, beautiful melodies, and they would gather together. Imagine being in that assembly, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam in that way, in the association of such great exalted devotees. So when there's an opportunity for going for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or going for kirtan, and there's very exalted devotees participating, we should run for that thing. We should run to be able to participate. I remember one time we were having a GBC meeting in Mayapur, and at the end of one day there was an announcement, Radhanath Maharaj, Shivaram Maharaj and Niranjan Maharaj are inviting everyone to come in 1 hour's time. They're having kirtan in Tamal Krishna Maharaj's quarters after the meetings today, and they're having kirtan and a recital of Shastra, so they're inviting everyone. So everyone went. He goes, Radhanath Maharaj is going to be there, Shivaram Maharaj is going to, Niranjan Maharaj is going to be in Tamal Krishna Maharaj's quarters, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj organized. And so everyone ran there, because such exalted personalities were leading the kirtan, and such exalted personalities were going to be there. So extra benefit. Benefit is there, but there's higher and higher and higher benefits. This is the point that Srila Prabhupada is making here. Bhagavatam recitation must not be a business. Don't try to make a business out of reciting Bhagavatam. The reciter should actually just depend on Krishna to look after him. And depend on Krishna, depend on the devotees of the Lord, even as far as the maintenance of his family. This is the ideal situation. This takes some level of surrender. Not everyone can be like this, but Prabhupada said the highest perfection is that he just reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and Krishna will look after such a personality. And if one has that attitude, then that is the perfect reciter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And as far as the listener, so the listener has to also be qualified. So this is very, very important. If the audience is very antagonistic, in fact, Prabhupada told us that generally we don't hold the classes for just open. Only those Prabhupada had some incidents in one time in Melbourne, also in Paris, where we organised a lecture for Prabhupada at La Trobe University in Melbourne. And this is on the video actually, in 1974, and it was in one of the student buildings there. Now, unbeknownst to us, there was a big communist club there of students who were communists, and they were against any religion or anything like that. So they had planned very meticulously how to disrupt Prabhupada's lecture. So when Prabhupada arrived, did the kirtan, and he just started speaking just one sentence, all of a sudden, from different parts of the audience, they all stood up and just started shouting over Prabhupada. And Prabhupada couldn't speak anymore because they were shouting, making big noise. And then Prabhupada just said that just start the kirtan. And the same thing happened in Paris, apparently. I wasn't there for that one. But Prabhupada later said that for the general masses in the future, he says, for the program for the general masses is we do kirtan and prasadam. This is the main thing. And those who are actually more interested, then if they're more interested, they're more serious to understand what is this philosophy, then they can come, and then they can, if they're serious and sincere, then they can hear the class on the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's a general principle, and because when someone is very angry or antagonistic, this won't be the proper mood for reciting and hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if it's done in this way, though, if it's done where the reciter is just a surrendered soul, the listener or the audience are surrendered souls, then Prabhupada finishes his purport here and he says that not only the reciter is very satisfied, not only the listener is very satisfied, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself becomes very, very satisfied. Very, very satisfied. And he blesses both the reciter and the listener with being liberated from material bondage and coming more and more to the path of devotional service simply by reciting and simply by hearing this perfect way of hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. So, if done in the right way, here Prabhupada stresses on this point. The Bhagavatam is full of narrations of the pastimes of the Lord and his devotees, and if this is done in the right way, then everyone will achieve the ultimate perfect satisfaction and ultimate perfect position of advancement in devotional service. So Hare Krishna, thank you very much for listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Does anyone have any questions or comments in regard to this verse? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, we
have so much enthusiasm, we can't, we do so much service, and we feel glorified, and we feel like we're so much sang, and we feel like we're just going to cruise back to God, very quickly.
Well, if you keep it up, definitely.
And then what happens is like the artists come in, and so many problems we face, so much rest, and like so we have a lot of devotion, and then it's very easy to slip back into like church activities, and by myself, I'm trying to pull myself back up, you know that's very bad for you. You come back up, you don't have a lot of strength, you don't even necessarily find a lot of really strong association. So you end up in that limbo where Krishna says, Arjuna says like a riven cloud, he says this one falls away, and then out of, to turn and it's losing that spiritual life and losing material life, and like a riven cloud. And then Krishna says, one who's done good is never overcome by evil. But then most in my life, like, I've done a lot of devotional service, and then I've done fallen away to some terrible activities. So it seems like I'm trying to...
The idea is this, is that you have to expect that anarthas will come. Don't have overly high expectations. Don't have overly high expectations that you will immediately come to the topmost level of perfection of devotional service. That can be a little bit of hunkara, false ego. And so we have to expect that there'll be anarthas. Now, we expect them, and when they come up, then we have to learn how to deal with that situation. We expect them, and I always remember this story with Giriraj Maharaj when he was walking with Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, I just want to ask you something and tell you something. That he said, most of the time I'm in the Krishna consciousness, but sometimes I'm getting in the Maya. Prabhupada stopped. This was in Juhu, near our Juhu temple. Prabhupada was years, been going from one thing to another, wants to move on to something else. All right, we've done this now. What else can we do? So then we have to drag it back. So this is the struggle, isn't it? We have to drag it back. So therefore, if we expect these things, we can read in the Shastras how to deal with these things when they come up. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives nice explanation, Madhurya Kandamini, so many different acharyas. We've got our devotees, we've got our gurus and so on and so forth. And we ourselves learn by reading, and we ourselves become experienced having had these things happen to us before. So we become experienced. Oh, this is anatta again, and here it is again. So okay, now how am I going to deal with this? What should I do to overcome this thing? Maybe avoid this place, avoid these personalities, and do these types of activities. So we have to work. It'll be a little bit different for each individual, but service. And so how to overcome. Now, if one is feeling always has faith in the Krishna consciousness, you have to have faith in the Krishna consciousness, and you have to be positive. You have to be positive in the Krishna consciousness. So when you have the positive attitude, then you will look to how you can overcome these things. But if you have a negative mood, then any obstacle will be like a mountain. It's negative. Oh, it's useless and it can't be done. And slightest thing, you will give it up. The slightest inconvenience, you'll give it up. Any questions down there, over there?
Just a comment from Chittahari Prabhu. When Prabhupada was in Australia, he encountered a situation where people came to his lectures and distributed the lectures. Therefore, he then introduced paid lectures so that outsiders would know him.
What was about the paid lectures? No, but what was the question again? Yeah.
At one point, Prabhupada told them to charge little fees so that only serious people to us can come.
Oh. I'm not aware of that. I can't remember that instance when Prabhupada gave that instruction. But someone is saying that was an instance. It may have been there, but that's a different motive. It's just charging so that only the serious ones will come. It's not he's not charging so he can earn a livelihood out of it. Prabhupada's not thinking, let us charge something, and so then we can make a good business out of this. So let's start increasing the charge. I don't know of that particular instance. That I would be interested to know when that happened and who he said that to. I haven't heard of that, and I was around for most of the times. But there may have been a time, maybe earlier. I wasn't around in the beginning. May have been in 71 when I came in 72. But I haven't heard of that. But there may have been a time. But even if Prabhupada did say it, I say this, that sometimes you get very insincere people. Sometimes they come to disrupt the meeting even. They come to disrupt the meeting. So to discourage them, you charge a little fee, and those who want to disrupt, I'm not going to pay any money to come in, and then they won't come. But that's a different mentality to what's being described here. What's being described here is you're making an ongoing professional business out of reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and you're charging money as an ongoing livelihood. That might have been one time and one occasion. Prabhupada said that many years ago. It may have been a particular instance that I haven't heard of. But even if he did say it, that's different from what's being described here. Yes?
The deity to whom the little boy Madhu offered the prasadam, the Muga, is it the same deity in Amarnath today?
Yes, same deity. Same deity when you go there. The Lord Vishnu deity, a black stone with four arms, 4 hands, and it's that deity that Madhu was making the offering. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, well, you'll be able to go inside there, and so you can see. Apparently, I'm not allowed to go in. I'm a foreigner. But those of you who are from the Indian origin, you'll be able to go inside that temple, and you may be able to see the stone where, in front of the deity, where Lord Chaitanya, he paid obeisances, and there's some marking on the stone also.
I went there before.
Yeah.
Some photos they allowed me.
Are they allowed you to take the photo? Oh, okay.
So I have a video
Oh.
that stone where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went
Oh.
and the stone melted.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
of a human head and some
Oh, okay. You saw that, huh?
I saw that.
Oh, Hare
Instead
Krishna.
of water, they had put some water
Yeah.
It's there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I didn't know that Alana, the one.
There's a Lord Vishnu deity.
Deity, is the
There's a
one-
story there because a lot from going back to Lord Brahma's time that he did some worship there, and that actually that area was called Brahmagiri before, and Vishnu appeared to him and said, "You are doing nice worship. I'm very happy with you. You make a deity here, and you worship the deity. Make a deity of me here, and you worship." So, it is apparently there's a story that goes right back. So, it's a very wonderful temple, and like Konark is another wonderful place you can go there, and Alalnath. But Lord Chaitanya would go to Alalnath quite regularly. And many Vaishnavas go to Alalnath temple, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Any other question? Yes.
Yesterday we ran out of time, so from yesterday's class,
Mm.
it sounded like all the devotees should aspire for second initiation. Is that so?
All the what about the devotees who aspired for a second initiation? What?
Like in yesterday's class it was described, and you were describing generally only the second initiation is considered really.
No. Technically, no. But in ISKCON we accept the first initiation also as Dvija, because Prabhupada did something a little bit different, and the acharyas can do like that. They are starting their a movement. They are very empowered personalities. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta also had a similar system. He gave Harinam, but it wasn't considered a diksha. He was just giving the holy name. But Prabhupada went further, and in the initiation process he divided into two. In that at both initiations of the receiving the holy name, there's yagya and everything, name is given, and so on and so forth. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta would just give the chanting, and they would give some beads, but no yagya or anything like that. But Prabhupada took it further just to prepare people, especially the Westerners, for the first initiation, and then a little later on the second initiation with the Gayatri mantra. So we've had, the leaders have had much discussion which one is there's quotes from Prabhupada that only the second one is the Diksha, and there's quotes from Prabhupada where the first one is also considered the Diksha. So he says both. So therefore in ISKCON we've accepted that both first and second is actually the Diksha. The first is the beginning process of the Diksha, and the second is the completion of the Diksha process of the second birth, Dvija. So this is the situation.
So my question was more like, so everyone should aspire for second initiation?
Yes, everybody. Although Prabhupada said one has to be qualified, and perhaps some will not get the second initiation if they don't qualify themselves with Brahminical qualifications. At the end of his time, he actually made a statement like that to some of his disciples, that he saw many of the devotees falling away and going back to bad habits again. So he said, maybe, and they took the second initiation, Gayatri, and he said, well, maybe not all of them are suited for the Brahminical type of lifestyle, and maybe we'll only give them the first part of the holy name initiation. So he even made a statement like that. But definitely as far as the disciple is concerned, yes, we should want to take the first, we should want to take the second, and complete the process of Diksha, and then take up the nice lifestyle and the mode of goodness, the Brahminical lifestyle, the Vaishnava Brahminical lifestyle. Any other question? Yes.
I have one more. For someone who has or is facing obstacles in getting initiated because maybe it's been few years and they listen to different devotees, what advice would you, as a devotee, an ordinary devotee like us, how can we give them some consultation or advice to say this is the wrong association, or you are listening to variety of things, and that is why you remain uninitiated up till today. How
You mean a variety of things outside of devotional service?
within ISKCON, but they are different parties, maybe they come from different gurus. And so they say, well, if you are being preached to by a certain, coming from a different guru.
You mean a guru in ISKCON?
Yeah, within ISKCON.
Oh, they shouldn't be talking like that.
You shouldn't.
No, any guru in ISKCON, we can get and receive instructions. Any nice instructions, we're very glad. We're very glad to receive that instruction. Any instruction, advice that's given to us, no matter, almost doesn't matter even the source. There's one story in the Bhagavatam about one devotee who would see instruction from the bee, from the tree, and and learn a lesson from so many different objects and see them as his guru in one sense. So if it's instruction, if advice is good and beneficial, then the devotee will very much appreciate that advice. Doesn't matter so many different advices. If the advices are actually beneficial, we can take so much advice, and it's very, very good. But generally, one who's disciple, they like to specifically take instruction and advice from their guru and the senior Vaishnavas and so on, and their Shiksha gurus and their Diksha gurus. But all sorts of advice, if actually enhancing devotional service, is good. It's all good. So we should be enthusiastic for that. Yeah.
Has got further comment. Paid lectures were not introduced in the temple, but public lectures were paid for some time, where such people came who started and provoked opulence. They stopped coming to paid lectures. Srila Prabhupada was thus very practical.
So Prabhupada was that?
It was very practical.
Oh. The people who were causing disruption, they stopped coming because now they had to pay some money. Right. Oh. So where's that from? Huh? Where is that? When did that happen, and who did Prabhupada say that to? In Australia? And there's no background to it? Where did you find it? In there? It's in the book somewhere, is it? No, I've never heard of that, but I'd be interested to see what the actual source is. So many statements can be there, but I'm not. It could be true. I mean, I have to see. I mean, Prabhupada did say from time to time, because I remember one story. One disciple said, "Prabhupada, you said that such and such," and Prabhupada said, "I never said that." Who said I said that? So even in Prabhupada's time, we had a lot of that. Prabhupada says you should do like that, and another disciple goes and checks with Prabhupada. Prabhupada, did you say to do like that? I never said. Who said I just said to do that? Even one of my godbrothers tells a story about that one of his godbrothers came and said to Prabhupada, I had a dream, and in the dream you came to me and you told me to do this and do that. And Prabhupada said, I never said that. That wasn't me. Maybe it was a Buddha who said that, disguising as me. But I never said that. So we have to be careful. That could be true, but we just have to be careful, especially when we assign Prabhupada said this. And so I'd be interested to see where it comes from. I mean, it sounds logical that if some disruptive elements were coming, that Prabhupada would say to charge some price, and then they don't come, and then you can have a nice meeting, a nice recitation of the Bhagavad. It sounds logical. Is this the same point going over and over again?
He's actually mentioning, Prabhupada saying that it's from the book called Footsteps of Prabhupada.
By who?
By Madhudvisa Prabhupada.
Oh, the Madhudvisa. Not my godbrother Madhudvisa, another Madhudvisa. Yeah, you have to. I'd like to. I won't say any more about that personality. Okay, yeah. I'd have to double check what Madhudvisa writes. That's for sure. I know about Madhudvisa. He used to be here in Australia, but yeah. I'll just say to that one. Hare Krishna. Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. What's that?
They call him Mad Michael. because he finished his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga, yeah, and he left, and the Kali Yuga is coming. Now they are asking, what is the ultimate shelter of mankind in this Kali Yuga? Because Krishna has already left. To whom we have, to where we can take the shelter for